Imagine this. Power's out, cell towers are down, and the internet is toast. How do you call for help? How do you coordinate with neighbors? Today we're diving into off-grid communications that still work when everything else fails, like GMRS, ham radio, and something called a mesh network. Don't worry, I'll break it down in plain English. Let's dive in. Why off-grid comms matter. In a real disaster, cell networks are often overloaded or go completely offline. If you're rural, you're already at the edge of that system, so you need tools that don't rely on big telecom companies or the grid. The good news? There are 3 solid options that you can start using today or pretty soon. GMRS radios, ham radios, and mesh network devices. Let's break these down, starting with the easiest one to get into. GMRS. So this is the GMRS radio, short for General Mobile Radio Service. Think of it like the big brother to the little walkie-talkies you get at a big box store. GMRS has longer range, more power, and can even use repeaters to bounce signals over hills or across towns. In my area, I get a range of about 1.25 miles without a repeater. I know that I have subscribers from other countries, and the United States GMRS information isn't going to apply to you. However, your country may have a similar option for you to use. Please share the GMRS alternatives in your country in the comment section below. To use GMRS legally in the United States, you need a license, but there's no test. Just go online, pay the fee, which is $35 as of time of this recording, and it's good for 10 years. It also covers your family. How to get GMRS license? Well, 1, go to the fcc.gov, search CORES, C-O-R-E-S, and create an FCC account. Apply for a GMRS license, select ZA as the license type. Pay the $35 fee, and you'll get a call sign, something like WQXX123 or so on. And you'll use this when transmitting. Once that's done, you're legal. Grab a pair of GMRS radios and you're set to talk off the grid. Ham radio, big power, big responsibility. Ham radio is also called amateur radio. This is a more powerful tool, but it comes with rules and you'll need to pass a test. Ham is great for emergency comms. With a technician license, you can hit local repeaters or talk directly if you're nearby. You can also access ham emergency nets and more. If you're interested in learning how to get your ham license, it's actually easier than you think. Study for the technician level exam. Try free resources like hamstudy.org. Schedule your online exam or in person through arrl.org. Pay the fees and pass the test. Get your call sign and you're on the air. Once you're licensed, you can get a handheld radio and be ready to go. What's a mesh network? Now let's talk about something called a mesh network. Think of a mesh network like this. Each device is like a digital homing pigeon. When you send a message, it hops from one device to another until it gets where it needs to go. No cell towers, no Wi-Fi, just small radios talking to each other. This is perfect for rural communities, neighborhoods, or homesteads during a blackout. Popular mesh options include GoTenna Mesh, which is text-only messages, and then you have Meshtastic, which is open source GPS tracking possibility depending on what you buy, and you can do messaging and even weather data. You and your group each carry one mesh node, and even if you're miles apart, your messages can still bounce from one unit to the next, as long as there's a chain, digital chain that is. Keep in mind that depending on what model mesh device you use, you may have to download an app onto your phone to send and receive messages from your mesh node. Your phone connects to the mesh node via Bluetooth. In the area where I live, which is Appalachia, we tested the range between two mesh nodes. We tested the Heltec LoRa 32 that you see on the screen. The Heltec nodes had a range of about 1 mile. In flatter terrain, it would probably go further. In our network, we have 6 nodes between 3 households. Keep in mind, the more nodes near you, the better range and connection you will have. As a side note, you may be curious about those LTE push-to-talk radios that are flooding social media platforms with their ads. I certainly was. The ad that popped up the most for me on Instagram was Rapid Radios. Folks, they must have a huge advertising budget. I reached out to Rapid Radios and asked for a pair of their radios for testing and review on this channel. I even offered to pay for the annual service on the radios, but they weren't interested in working with me. I get it. This is a small channel that doesn't have hundreds of thousands or even millions of subscribers. But viewers of this channel are still just as important. I digress. So what should you use? If you want to plug and play, GMRS is the way to go. If you want to go deep and research and reach far, go for ham. And if you're wanting silent, stealthy messaging for your group, get into mesh. Now, I don't have a ham radio license, but I have several friends that do, and I interviewed one of them and talked about ham radio. I'll link that video in the end screen. I tend to lean more towards the GMRS option because I do have that license and it covers my entire family. I am a fan of using the mesh network as well. So remember, folks, communication is highly important in disaster and emergency situations. If the grid fails, knowing how to reach your people could be the most important prep you'll ever make. When it comes to preparedness, don't skip on communication. I'll put the website addresses to the FCC and ARRL in the description, as well as the website to Meshtastic.org. Remember, be prepared, get proper training, and learn new skills. Visit us on the web at www.venerableo.com. Thank you for watching.